Buckle up, thrill seekers, because the electrifying world of Chinese automotive innovation is hurtling toward a crossroads. For years, China has been hailed as the vanguard of electrification, blazing trails with a dazzling array of plug-in electric cars. But hold on to your seats, because a storm is brewing on the horizon. Despite the roaring engines of progress, a sudden deceleration has sent shockwaves through the industry. As EV sales hit the brakes and the once mighty market faces headwinds, it's time to delve into the heart of the matter. Join us as we peel back the layers and uncover the key reasons behind the impending crash of the Chinese EV market. Strap in, folks, because this ride promises to be a pulse-pounding journey through the highs and lows of automotive evolution. Number 5. Growth of EV markets slows down. In the electrifying saga of China's automotive evolution, the past few years have been nothing short of remarkable. Picture this: a whopping 8 million plug-in electric cars zipping through the streets in 2023 alone. That's the stuff of futuristic dreams turned reality. With a current market share of around 37%, it's easy to get swept away by the numbers and feel the rush of excitement. But hold on to your seats, because beneath the surface, there's a tale of shifting gears. Zoom in a bit closer, and you'll notice something intriguing. Back in 2020, plug-in electric vehicles were like a spark just waiting to ignite, at a modest 6.3% share. Fast forward to 2022, and it's like the pedal was pushed to the metal, hitting a thrilling 30% share. Yet, here's the plot twist. The acceleration has hit a speed bump. What seemed like a turbocharged growth engine has now downshifted to a more leisurely pace. Last year, growth slowed to 46%, signaling a loss of momentum. And when we dissect the data further, a fascinating revelation emerges. While the spotlight shines on EVs, it's actually plug-in hybrids that stole the show, revving up an impressive 80% growth in the last year alone. So, why the sudden surge in hybrid love? Well, it seems like Chinese citizens are playing it smart, opting for the versatility and affordability of plug-in hybrids. With no range anxiety and a lighter toll on the wallet, it's a winning formula. Plus, let's not overlook the financial landscape. Compared to the gas-guzzling wallets of North America and Europe, the purchasing power of the Chinese middle class veers more toward real estate investments than splurging on pricey electric rides. Number 4. Thousands of dealers no longer in business. Last year, China became the world's largest car exporting nation, surpassing Japan after decades of dominance. And while Chinese car makers are conquering the world with their attractive prices, things are not going particularly well in the domestic market. The era of massive growth, and we're not talking just about EVs, is behind us. The peak was years ago, back in 2017, when 24 million cars were sold. Today, numbers are dropping notably, as the last year ended with a total score of 21.7 million. Of course, the ones that suffer the most are dealers, as the overproduction of electrified cars has made it extremely hard to sell vehicles. As a result, thousands of dealers already went into bankruptcy. And no, we don't talk about small players. This slowdown pushed even the biggest players into bankruptcy. The best example is the Guangdong Yongga Investment Group. That company had 8 outlets across the southern province of Guangdong. This dealer network was selling several brands, including some of the most prominent names in the world, such as Honda and Volvo, as well as the Chinese GAC Aion. Suddenly, the dealer notified customers that the company had gone into bankruptcy and that all orders were suspended. As a result, there are literally thousands of people who are now waiting to see whether they're about to get their promised vehicle, or at least their money back. According to insiders, this fall has been happening for a while, as reports of employees make complaints to the Dongguan government about withheld wages have been circulating around since last April. Today, we can hear that the company's employees have been owed wages for months, and now they most likely won't receive anything. Number 3. EV graveyards across China. EV graveyards are a new phenomenon that is currently exclusive to China, but have no doubt will spread around the world if politicians continue to push EVs too hard. Practically every bigger city in China has one of these. Just imagine a scene of hundreds, if not thousands, EVs left in the field, rotting away. That's pretty much a regular thing in today's China. For the rest of the world, it should be a valuable lesson that confirms yet again that we must respect the basic rule of demand and supply. So what exactly happened here? Years ago, the Chinese authorities decided to go full throttle with electric cars. This was the way small EV companies figured out how to get much-needed financial support. However, with the inability to sell their EVs on the regular market, most of them ended up in bankruptcy. From over 500 EV startups in 2017, that number went down to 91 in 2023. And all of this indicates that the number will continue to fall down for several reasons that we'll talk about in a moment. Number 2. Most EV makers will go into bankruptcy soon. As we've just mentioned, Chinese EV startups struggle a lot for several reasons. Even though able to sell a decent number of vehicles, they still haven't figured out how to make a profit on them. Used to big government support, these wealthy startups never managed to crack the EV economy. As a result, there are no more than a couple of companies that actually make a profit. The rest of the pack is losing money, a lot of it. Only in the last few months, we saw several cases of EV startups going into bankruptcy. This includes some pretty big names too, companies that looked extremely promising just a few years ago. Some of the most prominent examples are companies like Evergrande New Energy Auto, which was part of a much greater conglomerate with pretty much unlimited resources. And in such a tucked-away position, it never managed to figure out how to make a profit. Moreover, it never managed to sell its models in relatively decent numbers. As a result, the latest calculations suggest that this company has lost $17 million on each vehicle it sold. Of course, this isn't an isolated case. Many other companies went out of business, including Lean VW and Neutron. Even companies like NIO struggle a lot. The Shanghai-based company recorded a massive $2.9 billion loss in 2023, even though sales figures were pretty impressive in the fourth quarter. During these 3 months, the company managed to sell over 50,000 vehicles. But the latest estimations suggest that the first quarter of this year is going to be notably slower, with expected sales figures of around 30,000. Number 1. Most EV makers are doomed. With the EV market slowing down, it's obvious that most EV companies will eventually go into bankruptcy. As mentioned earlier, the number went down significantly from 500 just a few years ago. Today, it's estimated that there are around 90 companies left in the business. But if we could trust our insiders, at least 1/3 of them don't produce more than 500 vehicles quarterly. Their days are numbered, but they're not the only ones. Because if we look at the current market share, it turns out that the top 10 brands account for more than 80% of the plug-in market. Moreover, BYD holds 33.8% of the market. Tesla accounts for 7.5% of the plug-in segment, while other notable players are companies like GAC Eon, SAIC GM, Wuling, Li Auto, Chang'an, and Geely, each accounting for 6% or less. Add to this the fact that BYD is probably the only Chinese EV maker that made it profitable, as well as the ongoing price war imposed by the same company, it becomes obvious that the majority of the remaining companies will vanish soon. Eventually, the number of Chinese EV companies will go down to just a few, including Chinese legacy car makers such as G and MG, which can survive this price war only because of their solid position in markets abroad. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.